Hey, Action Readers, this is Alex. I'm an editor at Action, and I will be reading you this month's nonfiction feature about an awesome person named Malala. Malala the Powerful. The true story of a teen girl who almost died for her right to go to school, by Kristen Lewis. October 9, 2012, was an ordinary afternoon in the Swat Valley in northern Pakistan. Malala Yousafzai, 15, was on a school bus waiting to go home. Suddenly, two gunmen in masks appeared. "Who is Malala?" one of them yelled. A feeling of terror filled the bus. Then the gunmen opened fire. One bullet hit Malala's head. Two of Malala's friends were struck in their arms. Then the gunmen ran off, leaving Malala to die. It might be difficult to understand why anyone would try to murder an innocent girl on her way home from school. But some people in Pakistan did not view Malala for what she was, a bright and kind teenager. They saw her as a dangerous threat to their way of life. Malala had been fighting for the right for all girls to go to school, work that made her famous around the world. It also made her a target of an evil group of terrorists called the Taliban. Taliban control. The Taliban were not part of Pakistan's government, but their forces were powerful. Their members followed an extreme form of the religion Islam. Most Muslims, people who follow Islam, do not agree with the Taliban. Malala is from Mingora, a city in the Swat Valley. Starting in 2007, the Taliban began taking control of Swat. They blew up government buildings and murdered police officers. At night, Malala often woke up to the sound of gunfire. Mingora became a war zone. Under Taliban control, people were forced to follow oppressive religious rules. All music, television, and movies were banned. Women were not allowed to go to school or do any work outside of the home. If a person broke these rules, he or she could be beaten or even killed. Top secret school. In January 2009, the Taliban ordered all girls' schools to close. That included Malala's school, which her father owned. It was very upsetting news. School was one of the most important parts of Malala's life, and she knew how lucky she was. After all, fewer than half the girls who lived in Pakistan's countryside had a chance to go to school. Malala's father made the dangerous decision to keep his school open. So Malala and her classmates stopped wearing their school uniforms. They hid their books under their clothing. Staying alive meant that going to school had to be top secret. Malala was scared and angry. Was there anything she could do to fight back? A powerful weapon. It turns out that Malala had a powerful weapon of her own, her voice, and she would risk everything to use it. In 2009, she began writing for a British blog. Using a pseudonym, she shared what her life was like under the Taliban. She wrote about her dream of becoming a doctor one day and her fears of the terrorists. On my way from school to home, I heard a man saying, "I will kill you," she wrote. The blog was an instant hit. Soon, people all over the world were reading it and learning what was happening in Swat. Malala's Crusade. In May 2009, the Pakistani army finally launched an attack against the Taliban in Swat. Along with millions of others, Malala and her family escaped to the south. The conflict lasted for 3 months. By August, it was finally safe to go home. After that, Malala began an attack of her own. She came forward as the famous blogger. She went on television and gave powerful speeches to Pakistani kids. Her message: all children deserve the right to an education. But in 2010, notes began appearing under Malala's door. They ordered her to give up her crusade, or else. Still, she refused to back down. In October 2012, the Taliban shot her. After the shooting, Malala was flown to a hospital in England that treats serious brain injuries. Her family soon joined her. Meanwhile, the Taliban spoke out. They said the shooting was a warning to other girls not to follow Malala's example. But people around the world weren't scared. They continued Malala's fight. Protesters marched. Many of them were kids carrying signs that read, "I am Malala." What girls can do. It's been a little more than 7 years since the shooting. Malala survived and her family stayed in England. There, Malala got the one thing she always wanted, an education. About 130 million girls around the world do not attend school. Often, it is because they must work to earn money for their families. Sometimes, it is because they have no school to go to. In 2014, Malala started the Malala Fund, a group that is working to change that. Today, Malala is a student at Oxford University in England. She isn't sure what career path she will choose, but she knows she will keep fighting for girls and women. If one girl with an education can change the world, just imagine what 130 million can do.